How's it going, YouTube? This is Skull, and welcome to a Pokemon Trading Card Game Online video. Today I will be showcasing my Night March deck, and as I promised in my update video that I'm going to be making more consistent videos, I am going to try and make a new video showcasing a different deck every single week on Wednesday. So, TCGO Wednesday, I suppose. Anyways, we can see I started out with no basic Pokemon. I did win the coin flip, which means I get to go first. This would have been a really nice start, too. I could have, if I had had a basic there, I could have DCE'd onto it, a Battle Compressor, 3 Lampet into the discard, and probably Dimension Valley and then Professor Birch. But alas, it is not to be. Anyway, so I chose Night March today, frankly, because it's the only big deck that I could make with the cards that I have on the Trading Card Game Online. One reason why I haven't been doing the TCGO for the last few months, I guess close to a year now actually, is that it's very hard for me to get the cards necessary to build all the big decks. My luck for pulling the cards that I need is just absolutely horrible, and as such I also don't have cards available to trade for cards that I need. So with that being said, I'm going to try really hard to make decks that are both fun and hopefully competitive for you guys. Now I've got to say that I'm not competitive. I have not been in the competitive scene for over a year. I just know which decks are big and how they work. I don't know how to make a deck from scratch. This is my third attempt at making a Night March deck, and I think it worked out pretty well. Anyway, we're going to Acrobike there, put a VS Seeker into our hand, and a Pumpkaboo in the discard pile where it belongs. Put that double colorless energy onto that Joltik. Tempted to play that Floatstone, and I decided, you know what? Nah, it's not worth it to put it onto a Joltik. And we used Professor Sycamore there, and what a beautiful hand. We can Ultra Ball away 2 of those Night Marchers. Going to put Joltik on the bench. Going to save that DCE for next turn. Now we can Ultra Ball, but if you were paying attention earlier, unfortunately both of my Shaymin EX are prized. So I'm going to go ahead and Ultra Ball for my 1 Mew. Now Mew has an ability called Memories of Dawn, which states that it can use the attacks of any of your basic Pokemon as long as it has the necessary energy. I only play 1 in this deck. I know plenty of people who play 2, 3, or even 4 just for another attacker so that you don't have to risk losing your Night Marchers when you attack. I just play the 1 because I found that attacking with the Night Marchers is great for 2 reasons. 1, you'd only have to worry about the necessary energy for that 1 Pokemon. You don't have to worry about running out of double colorless energy or anything like that. And 2, when that Night Marcher is knocked out, that means that you're just going to be dealing out more and more damage. Anyway, I'm just looking at all the cards there, seeing what's in play. There's a Team Flare Grunt, getting rid of my double colorless energy. Not that big of a deal, because I have that Escape Rope I was planning on playing next turn anyway. Let's see, I did top deck an Acrobike, which is nice, and oh, that sucks. Looks like I'm going to have to discard that double colorless energy to get my supporter for the turn. That's really unfortunate, but oh well, it needed to be done. So I'll be playing the Escape Rope here. Now my opponent has a choice. Is he going to throw forward that Zapdos, which is a really powerful attacker and has high HP, but risk losing that, or is he going to throw forward the Magnemite, which is basically useless to him? So he throws up the Magnemite. I'm going to put down the DCE, Dimension Valley, and then a free Professor Sycamore. Well, not really free. I did have to discard that DCE with the Acrobike to get it, but oh well. Now I'm going to use the Trainer's Mail, and Trainer's Mail states you cannot get Trainer's Mail, but that's fine. I do have 2 Puzzles of Time now, which is great, because now I can use those to get me back 1 or both of my double colorless energy if I so wish, but I also see that there's a VS Seeker in there, so decisions. So I'm going to go ahead and play both Puzzles of Time. When you play 1, you just look at the top 3 cards of your deck and put them back in any order. If you play 2, you can pick any 2 cards in your discard pile and put them back in your hand. This is really great for getting back very special things like double colorless energy. I also ended up getting the Ultra Ball as well because, well, I want the Joltik and Pumpkaboo in my discard pile as well. Battle Compressor, getting rid of those Lampent. Their only job is to be in the discard pile. That is it. So getting those in there by any means necessary is always a good thing. And just trying to figure out what the other one is that I want to put in there. I guess another puzzle of time. I really won't be using those for the rest of the game. Now I can Ultra Ball away the Pumpkaboo and the Joltik, or I could Acrobike first. It's really up to me. Looking at this Ampharos to see what it does, like I've said, been out of the competitive scene for a while. I believe Ancient Origins was the first set that came out after I quit the game. Roaring Skies, I built a really nice Rayquaza Shaman deck that, well, it only worked until they got rid of Lysander's trump card, and then people were too afraid to play it because it was too fast. It wasn't uncommon for you to tear through your entire deck within one turn, and then use Lysander's trump card to put it back into the deck. Anyway, I was just looking through my discard pile here, seeing what's in there, and I'm going to go ahead and Ultra Ball now, getting rid of that Pumpkaboo and Joltik. Well, I'm thinking about it. One thing about this game that just didn't seem to work very well is usually when you hover over your deck, you're supposed to see how many cards you have left. Every time I did that for either of our decks, nothing worked. So I'm just going to... I decided to save the Ultra Ball just because I don't know how many cards are left in my deck, and I don't want to find out the hard way that I am running close to decking out. I don't think I am at this point, and spoiler alert, I'm not, but still. So I do get the Shaman EX off of the prizes. I mean, that's a very valuable card. I need that in my hand. And of course I promote the Joltik as my active. The Ampharos did knock out my Mew. That's Mew gone, and I don't get a Night Marcher in the discard pile because of it. And right now my Night March is only doing 120. So even getting rid of this Pumpkaboo and Joltik, I'm only doing 160. So I need to somehow get one more Night Marcher in the discard pile. Now I do have a Professor Sycamore in my hand, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the Joltik, and then if worst comes to worst off of this Shaman, then I can just Sycamore away the Joltik, and that's 180 right there. That's a knockout on this Ampharos, and that's a huge threat gone. Plus I'll get 2 prizes. But luck is on my side. That Shaman for 2 got me an Ultra Ball and a Hex Maniac. Hex Maniac is basically useless in this matchup, so I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that with the Ultra Ball. I'm not even going to get anything with my Ultra Ball. Don't know if there was anything to get. I don't really care. I just wanted to play it so I can get Joltik in the discard pile. Did its job. Now I'm dealing 180 damage, exactly enough to knock out this Ampharos, and my opponent does not have an immediate answer. Neither of those Zapdos are set up. They don't even have an energy on them. Now, and on top of that, I got to VS Seeker for my teammates, which allows me to get any other 2 cards I want. I'm going to get a Birch's Observation for next turn. I don't want to run through my deck too quickly, so if I can shuffle some cards back in there instead of just discarding my whole hand, that'll be ideal. And also Fighting Fury Belt to give my Joltik a little bit of extra HP, just in case that Zapdos gets something insane like a Muscle Band for its first attack, which usually deals 20. 40 would knock me out, but now I have that Fighting Fury Belt. Now my HP is actually 70, so I'm good. And now it's a very difficult decision of what cards to get. Shaman looks good, so I'll get that. But nothing else really looks that good. I'm set up to just Night March forever, so Battle Compressor and Lampent are not that good. Ultra Ball's not that good either, so it's really just startling Megaphone. Then if he does get something like that Muscle Band and then gets rid of my Fighting Fury Belt for some reason, then I can just Megaphone it away, be okay. Really, the last 3 prizes, I don't really care about them. I'm just going to play through the game and not have to worry about them. Okay, he is going to play a Teammates, and as I recall, this seems to take a little while. Now, so Night March is probably the most powerful deck in the format right now. If at the very least, it's in the top 3. The set it came out in, Phantom Forces, just gave the deck everything it needed to work. It gave it all the Night Marchers and VS Seeker and Lysander's trump card. Of course, you can't use that anymore. But I believe Lysander's trump card was supposed to be like Night Marchers would fear that card, but it turns out that more often than not, Night Marchers were the ones who played that card, because even though you put all your resources back into your deck, by the time you did that, you were pretty much in a position to just go through your whole deck again anyway. So Even with Lysander's trump card gone, even with Mew EX gone from the standard format, we're still seeing a very, very powerful deck here. So I'm going to go ahead and Trainer's Mail for the Pokemon Catcher. If I had flipped heads there, that would have been the end of the game. My opponent would not have been able to come back from that. Unfortunately, I flipped tails, and now I'm going to have to play with the understanding that he could still make a huge comeback. I did get that Lysander off that Birches, but since I played Birches to get it, that's a turn that I need to wait to use it. Now, there is something that I can do to disrupt my opponent, and that is use Red Card. I've loved that card ever since it first came out. Don't know why people don't play it more often. And my opponent did get 2 cards from that teammates. He kept one of them, so that Red Card hopefully disrupted his hand enough so that he won't be able to use to power up the Zapdos. He would need another Electric Energy and a Colorless Energy to hit me this turn to knock me out. I really don't think there's any way he can do it. I'm just too set up. The best he can do is bench another Pokemon and hope that I deck out, but no, he's just going to concede. So that, ladies and gentlemen, was Night March in action, and I promise I will be doing more deck profiles in the future. I hope you all enjoyed. Thanks everyone for watching, and stay tuned for more.